Hello and welcome, I'm your Code Monkey, and here let's check out the top new games made with Unity launched in August 22. The reason why I make these videos is to show you everything that the engine can do. The only limit is really just your own skills and imagination. And the variety and the awesomeness of the games shown here really puts that to the test. All of these games are uniquely impressive, so the list is in no particular order, except for the number 1 game that is my personal pick of the month. Also, right now the 2 excellent Humble bundles are still active. The Tools bundle was supposed to end, but it got extended. If you haven't seen these bundles, I highly recommend you look at them. It's a massive 98% discount, so it's worth it if just a single asset looks interesting. Alright, so starting off at number 10 with the biggest hit this month, Cult of the Lamb. It's a very unique game. The subject matter sounds pretty ominous and serious, running a cult, but it's combined with some very cute lamb characters. And it seems that people really like this combo. Already has over 20,000 very positive reviews and already sold over 1 million copies in just 1 week. The game itself is an action roguelike. You run a cult, which means you go out on adventures, you fight off enemies and grow your flock by saving new followers. You can then give them a name, change their form and what makes them unique. Then you preach some daily sermons to your flock and tend to them, you lead them, feed them, and build your small community. And of course, there are always those non-believers, so it's up to you to decide how to handle them. The game definitely uses a very unique style, so that's probably the main reason why it's been so successful, and behind that style is also an excellent, very well made game. And up next we have a nice indie sequel, Hard West 2. It's a really gorgeous game. I love the visuals on this one, great assets with some very thick shadows giving it a really nice comic book look. The game is a turn-based strategy game, so something along the lines of XCOM but western and with some fantasy undead elements. As you might know, I spent the last 5 months working on my turn-based strategy course, so this genre is definitely one that I very much enjoy. You have some very unique abilities, and you use your revolver to bounce bullets and hit your targets from cover. That makes for some very interesting tactics scenarios. And of course, in a western, you are only as good as your posse. So recruit and equip them with punchier guns, explosives and trinkets for all kinds of effects. Take out all the enemies and keep your squad alive. Indie sequels are pretty rare, and this one seems to improve upon the original in every way, so if you're looking for some nice turn-based tactics, then check this out. Then, if you want to experience some mayhem with friends, check out PlateUp. This is a co-op roguelite management game, definitely a unique mix. The obvious comparison would be with Overcooked, which is also an excellent game, but this one stands out by adding that management layer. So you need to both manage the kitchen as well as the restaurant, so you place down some tables and chairs, upgrade your equipment so you can cook faster. One player cooks while the other one is out serving food. Then you also select from a bunch of cards what exactly you want your restaurant to be like, so we only go for some gourmet dining or maybe something more like fast food, the choice is yours. It features some local as well as some online multiplayer. It already has overwhelmingly positive reviews, so if you have a group of friends and want to have a good time, then this looks excellent. For some really nice management, here we have Farthest Frontier. Features very gorgeous and very realistic visuals, looks really nice. It looks set in kind of the 1800s, so you have horses and carriages, lots of small buildings and some churches. Being a management survival game means that you need to go out, you need to gather resources, hunt, fish and farm to survive, then take those raw materials and craft something, use that to trade, consume and equip your villagers to fight for their survival. The description says that it features one of the most detailed farming systems ever. I'm definitely curious to see what that means. There's also a very advanced village simulation, so the villagers have their lives and they manually transport goods, so things don't just magically disappear from one place and appear in another. And being set in the 1800s means you have to deal with all of the old-timey diseases like scurvy, dysentery and cholera. Despite looking like a relatively niche game, it already has over 5,000 very positive reviews, so if you're into city builders then this looks like an excellent new one. And up next, for something really stylish and really awesome, here is Rollerdrome. It's an extremely unique game. I've heard it described as Tony Hawk meets Max Payne, so that definitely has me intrigued. Basically, you have a bunch of roller skates, then you can go into slow motion and shoot some bad guys. You have several weapons at your disposal, and the way that you reload is by doing some tricks. So you're constantly on the run, jumping and doing all kinds of tricks to shoot the bad guys and get a high score. The game has a generous aim assist system, so your focus is really on looking cool rather than on pixel perfect aim. Visually, it also definitely stands out with a very unique style, some very thick outlines on everything coupled with some really nice cel shading. So all in all, it's a very unique, stylish game. I love both Tony Hawk and Max Payne, so this combo definitely interests me. For some VR, here we have a really interesting one, Airport Ground Handling Simulator. The really interesting part about this one is that it's not exactly a game, it's literally a training simulator. With that, you can expect some excellent realism and insane levels of accuracy and detail. So if you've ever wanted to inspect a plane up close, open some cargo doors, fill up with gas and so on, if that's a desire you have, then this looks excellent. It's in early access, which means it launched with just one of the planned 5 scenarios. Personally, I think that VR is an excellent platform for this kind of training simulator, and I'm really looking forward to some things like this becoming more and more common. Maybe one day there will be a realistic car automation factory game, or something managing a warehouse, or maybe a space center. So the future looks really interesting for this kind of VR training simulators, and I'm definitely curious to see more. Then, if you're a fan of RTSs, here's a very realistic one called Regiments. It is set during the height of the Cold War. The focus really is on accuracy, realism, and combined arms. Rather than sending hundreds of soldiers, you send artillery to soften your target, then break through the enemy line, engage in some tactical retreats, stage defenses, and some counterattacks. You fight on massive maps and need to win multiple small engagements in order to win the war. Features lots of real-world units, some tanks, helicopters, airplanes, all of them with tons of stats and some really authentic models. The game features a smooth learning curve and a nice campaign that tells a complex story of warfare around the inner German border from multiple perspectives. Certainly is a very unique game in the RTS genre since there are no infantry, just lots of mechanized combat. Then for a game with a very unique mechanic called Backpack Hero, it's an inventory management roguelike, again definitely a very unique combo. This is basically if you took my Tetris inventory system that I covered in a previous video and basically made a full game based on that idea. It looks really awesome. You have tons of items as you explore this dungeon, then every item has a certain shape and it's up to you to put it in your backpack in the best place possible. The placement of the items has a huge impact. You can place certain items next to others for some huge bonuses. There are hundreds of rare items, each with their own unique effect, and the inventory isn't really a neat rectangular shape. You expand it as you explore the dungeon and get some really interesting shapes. So if you want to see how to take an interesting mechanic and make an entire game around that, then this game is an excellent use case that you can study. Then for something that just came out of early access, Across the Obelisk, it's a deck-building roguelite RPG where you choose your heroes, unlock items and cards, craft your deck, and face powerful enemies in deep tactical combat. There are 16 unique characters to unlock to your party, and over 500 cards and items for you to choose, craft, and upgrade. Being a roguelite means that it has procedural world, making every run unique and highly replayable, and one very unique thing is how it features 4-player online co-op. So when playing in multiplayer, each player controls one unique hero, which means you all have to work together to decide what is best for the group. As usual with every game that launched out of early access, you can definitely expect to have tons of content. Already has over 3,000 very positive reviews, so if you like this genre, definitely give it a look. And finally at number 1 for my personal pick of the month, here we have the second game in the 2 Point franchise, 2 Point Campus. Just in case you don't know, this is a team that was formed by former Bullfrog veterans. That was the studio that made Theme Hospital. For me, Theme Hospital was a huge part of my childhood. I absolutely love that game. So when this team was formed and they came out with their previous game, 2 Point Hospital, I played it right away, really awesome. This time they are taking their signature style and applying it to a university campus. So it's filled with the usual silly humor that you would expect. For example, you have Night School, where, you guessed it, you train some medieval knights. You build your university, hire some staff, and encourage students to enroll in your courses. The whole thing looks very silly and a very fun time. All the building tools are really easy to use, placing buildings, roads, props, all of that is super simple and it all looks really nice and jolly. The game already has 1,000 very positive reviews, so it seems like it's yet another great hit. I'm really looking forward to playing this one and seeing what other genres they will tackle in the future. I can't wait until 10 years from now when there's a whole bunch of awesome fun 2 Point games. Alright, so that's 10 awesome new games made with Unity and launched in August 22. I hope this list helped you see how the Unity engine is capable of building anything. The only limits are really just your own skills and imagination. Let me know in the comments if you've played any of these or if there's any interesting systems in the games you've been playing. Alright, hope that's useful. Check out these videos to learn some more. Thanks to these awesome Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.